Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the English 360 podcast. I'm Mia, your cheerful voice for today's commute.
And I'm Alex. Whether you're on the subway, walking to work, or just relaxing at home, we're glad you're joining us.
Today's topic is something every city dweller can relate to, the daily commute.
Ah, yes. The mysterious journey between your bed and your office. Sometimes peaceful, sometimes chaotic.
Exactly. We'll talk about how we get to work, share some funny stories, and teach you useful English words for daily transportation.
So grab your coffee or your subway card and let's get moving.
Alex, look, your coffee is almost cold. Why haven't you taken a single sip? You've been sighing nonstop since you sat down. What's wrong? Was this morning not good?
Mia, don't even get me started. It's not that it wasn't good, it's that I'm just so tired. The subway this morning was the most crowded I've seen this month.
It's because of the subway again, isn't it? I thought so. It seems what makes you so tired apart from work is that subway every morning.
Yeah. This morning at the subway station, I waited for 3 trains just to finally manage to squeeze in. I felt like I didn't get into the carriage on my own. I was pushed by the people behind me. After I got in, my feet couldn't even stand fully on the floor.
Wow, are you exaggerating? That sounds really difficult. So you take the subway to work every day?
Yes, every day. My home is a bit far from the company. The subway is the fastest and most punctual way. What about you? Your home is close to the company, so I imagine you don't take the subway.
Of course not. My way of getting to work is much more comfortable than yours. How about we talk about this topic today? How do we get to work every day? What mode of transport do you use, and what do I use?
Great. This topic is really interesting. I also want to know if you really come to work so relaxed and happy every day.
Absolutely. I'll go first. My main mode of transport is my bicycle.
A bicycle? Is it one of those shared ones? One of those yellow or blue ones?
No, I have my own bicycle. It's one I really like. It's not big, it's white, and it's very light to pedal. My house is about 3 kilometers from the company. When the weather is good, I cycle to work.
3 kilometers. A bicycle is perfect for that distance. So, how long does it take, roughly?
About 15 minutes. Sometimes I pedal a little slower, enjoying the scenery, and it might take 20 minutes. I especially love cycling in the spring and autumn. The weather is neither cold nor hot, and the wind on my face is very pleasant.
That truly sounds great. Unlike me on the subway, who can only smell various breakfast items.
Exactly. Plus, cycling to work for me isn't just getting from home to the office. It's also a great time for exercise in my day. Cycling in the morning makes my body wake up, and when I arrive at the company, I feel full of energy.
That's true. It's a healthy lifestyle. And do you see anything interesting on your cycling path?
Of course. My route passes through a very beautiful park. Every day I see elderly people exercising in the park and some cute little dogs. Last week, I also discovered a new bakery opened along the way, and their bread smells amazing. Sometimes I stop to buy one for breakfast.
Wow, that sounds wonderful. It seems like your commute to work is a little trip.
You could say that. I like that feeling. No rush, slowly taking in the city. But cycling also has its disadvantages.
Oh, really? Like what?
For example, if the weather is bad, heavy rain or snow, I can't cycle. Also, sometimes when the air quality isn't very good, cycling isn't very comfortable.
That's true. The winter in big cities sometimes has very strong winds. It must be very cold to cycle. So, what do you do in those situations?
If the weather is truly very bad, I choose to take the bus. There's a bus stop right in front of my house, and two lines go close to the company. Although it's a bit slower than cycling, it's also very convenient. If all else fails, I can also call a taxi.
It seems you have many flexible options. I really envy you.
Don't envy me. I want to hear about you too. Although you say the subway is very crowded, it certainly has its advantages, right? Otherwise, why would so many people take the subway every day?
For sure. The advantages and disadvantages are very clear. So now it's my turn. My subway saga.
Okay, I'll talk about my commute. As I said before, my house is relatively far from the company, about 15 kilometers.
15 kilometers? That's definitely not close. If you went by bicycle, it would take over an hour.
Exactly. That's why the bicycle option never crossed my mind. For me, the most suitable mode of transport is the subway. A 10-minute walk from my house, there's a subway station. From that station to the one near the company, I need to make one transfer. And it's 8 stations in total.
8 stations plus the transfer time. How long does that take approximately?
The time on the subway is about 40 minutes. But I still need to count the time walking from home to the station, waiting for the train, and walking from the subway station to the company. Adding everything up, it's almost an hour. That's 2 hours a day, round trip.
That's certainly not a short amount of time.
It isn't. But the biggest advantage of the subway is that it's fast and punctual. Surface traffic in the city easily gets congested. If I drove or took the bus, I might not arrive at the company in an hour and a half. But the subway runs underground. It never gets stuck in traffic. That's very important.
That's true. Especially for working people, punctuality is very important. Being late is no good.
Exactly. But the disadvantage, as I said at the beginning, is that there are too many people, especially between 8 and 9 in the morning. Every day I go through a war.
War? Isn't that a bit strong?
Not at all. Imagine, as soon as the carriage door opens, the people inside want to get out, the people outside want to get in, and everyone is squeezing. Sometimes on the subway, I feel a little sick because there are too many people and the air quality isn't very good. I feel like my good mood for the day starts to be affected right in the morning.
I understand. Many people feel that way. Having to face so many strangers every day, squeezed into a small space, can really be stressful.
Yeah, that's why I sometimes really admire people who ride the subway full of energy every day.
Have you tried listening to music or podcasts on the subway? Like our English 360. That way you can turn that time into a moment of study or relaxation. You can put on your headphones, create a small world just for yourself, and not worry so much about the environment around you.
Hey, that's a great suggestion. I tried listening to music before, but I didn't stick with it. Listening to podcasts is a good idea. I can use those 40 minutes to learn something or listen to some interesting stories. Thinking about it that way, that time doesn't seem so bad anymore.
Exactly. Transform time that can't be changed into valuable time. That way, your subway saga can become your subway learning journey.
Okay, tomorrow I'll start my subway learning journey. Thanks for the suggestion.
You're welcome. Actually, besides bicycles and the subway, our city has many other modes of transport. For example, the bus we mentioned. Have you ever taken the bus?
Of course, when I go out on weekends, if it's not far, I like to take the bus. The advantage is that it's cheaper than the subway, and sitting by the window, you can see the street scenery. Watching the people and cars coming and going in the city is quite interesting too.
Yes, I also like that feeling. On the subway, we're always underground. You can't see anything. Riding the bus, you feel like you're truly in the city. But the disadvantage of the bus is also obvious. It's slow, and the arrival time is uncertain.
Right. When there's traffic, you don't know when you'll arrive. One time, I took a bus, a route that usually takes 20 minutes, took an hour that day. Since then, if I have something important, I absolutely do not take the bus.
And calling a car? It's very easy to call a car using your phone now.
Calling a car is, of course, very comfortable. Direct from the door of your house to the door of the company. No need to walk or squeeze. But there are two big problems.
I know. The first one is that it's expensive, right?
Exactly. From my house to the company, if I call a car, it would cost over $50. If I did that every day, the transport cost at the end of the month would be very high.
Yes, very expensive. And the second problem, is it traffic again?
Exactly. The taxi also drives on the surface, so it also gets stuck in traffic. Especially during rush hour, calling a car can be slower than taking the subway. That's why I only call a car in special situations. For example, when the weather is very bad, or when I work late at night and the subway is closed.
Me too. For me, calling a car is an emergency option. What about driving? Do you have your own car?
I don't have a car. In a large city like this, driving to work may not be a good choice.
Why? Isn't driving your own car much more free? You can leave whenever you want.
It seems like it, but in reality, the problems with driving to work are no less than those of the subway. First, traffic again. Second, and most importantly, it's very difficult to find a parking spot. Parking near our company has very few spots and is very expensive. Many people spend a lot of time every day looking for a spot.
Ah, so that's how it is. I only thought about the freedom of driving. I didn't imagine there were so many problems. It seems every mode of transport has its advantages and disadvantages.
Yes, none is perfect. We can only choose the most suitable one for us based on the distance between home and work, our time, and our financial situation.
Now that you've said that, I suddenly think that the way we get to work every day actually reflects what the city we live in is like.
Oh, really? How so?
Look, in large cities, the subway system is very developed, so many people choose the subway. This shows that the city is big and people live quite spread out. In smaller towns, perhaps many people ride a bicycle or an electric scooter to work because the city isn't as large and it's more convenient that way.
What you said makes a lot of sense. Also, in big cities, there's a very particular phenomenon, which is the rush hour.
Right. Rush hour. We use that word often, but our listeners might not know it well. Can you explain?
Of course. The so-called rush hour is the period of the day when traffic is most intense, with the most people and cars. Generally, there are two. In the morning, it's the rush hour for going to work from 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. In the evening, it's the rush hour for returning home from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. In these two periods, no matter if you're on the subway, on the bus, or driving, you will feel enormous pressure.
Exactly. That's why I think commuting during rush hour is like a great river. Each of us is a little fish in the river, swimming forward with everyone else. You can't stop or swim too slowly. You can only follow the current.
That's a very interesting metaphor. A crowded, great river and a school of fish that have no control. It's quite vivid.
Isn't it? When I'm on the subway, I often have that feeling. Everyone's goal is the same, to get to work or go back home.
But hearing your metaphor, I had a new idea. I think that even being little fish in the river, we can choose how to swim. For example, you choose to swim quickly in the main channel, which is the subway. Although it's cramped, the speed is high.
And me? Choosing the bicycle is like choosing a calmer stream. Although it's not as fast as the main channel or as direct, I can enjoy the scenery on the banks with more freedom and more happiness.
Your addition was great. Thinking about it that way, commuting seems to gain a philosophical meaning. The path we choose for work also represents the kind of life for them we choose.
Yes, there's no right or wrong, only what is suitable or not.
Today's conversation was very interesting. We started by talking about how we get to work, moved on to different modes of transport, and ended by talking about the rush hour and life philosophy.
Yes, a small daily topic can lead to so many reflections. I think we used many useful words for English learners today. Let me briefly summarize.
First, to commute or go to work. Then, modes of transport. This includes what we talked about today: subway, bus, bicycle, and taxi.
We also learned some verbs like ride a bicycle, take the subway, drive a car, and also call a taxi, and walk.
You summarized very well. Everyone also heard a word that represents the pace of life in big cities well: rush hour.
Exactly. I hope that in the future, when you hear or see these words, you remember our conversation today. The commute of each person is different. Some are fast, others slow. Some enjoy the scenery along the way, others study on the way.
And you, friends who listen to our podcast, how do you get to work or school every day? Do you like your commute? Has anything interesting happened on your way? We invite everyone to leave us a comment using the English you are learning to share your stories. We look forward to reading them.
Well, our time for today is almost up. We hope you enjoyed our show. Thank you for listening to English 360 Podcast.
Until next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.